Okay, so I set my face with a little bit of loose powder, and then after that, to set the powder, you spray a little bit of setting spray, just a little bit, and then I'm gonna use this Hard Candy perfecting primer. It's for the pores. So this technique was from a makeup artist on YouTube. It just helps for the primer to actually do its job instead of sliding it over the moisturizer. That sort of makes sense. Okay, so I already put on my primer. Usually what I use, or what I do next, is I start putting on concealer. And I'm using the E.L.F, the Hydrating Camo concealer. Yeah. I just start putting that around my eyes right here, where it's ugly. And then like for my pimples. This is where I'm starting to look like a tribal person. And I just realized this could end up being too long, so maybe I should these steps. Okay, so the next thing that I do, I mixed in, well, since I'm not going anywhere nice, I'm gonna use my not so expensive foundation. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus. And this one's a little bit too dark for me, so I mixed it with my Smashbox Studio Skin. It's a little bit lighter, and I mix it on the back of my hand. Mix, 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 mix. And then I start putting it all over my face. Keep in mind that I did not blend my concealer, like the one that I put. Okay, now it's time for blending. I use my sponge and I wipe off what's the back of my hand. And then I start blending. I find it that when you put your concealer on first and you let it sit, it gives you higher, like, more coverage. So that's what I did. That's why I left it there. Now I'm blending it all together. Look at that, erasing my face. I'll go on the side. Okay, so I blended all the foundation on my face, but there's still spots where it could use a little bit more coverage, like on my pimples or under my eyes. So I use my super full coverage foundation. That's the Smashbox Studio Skin Full Coverage. And I only put a tiny dot on my sponge. Tiny little dots, like right there. And I put it right on the spots that I wanted to cover. It's a little bit lighter than my face, but I just blend it so you can't notice. So I'm still on the spot concealing, and I'm going to show you how I do it underneath my eyes. I don't put it all over, I put it where it looks the darkest, so like that curve right there. Oh my god, let's look at it. And this has a yellow undertone, which is good to neutralize the purple. See that? You see that line right there? That's what I'm trying to conceal. and I don't bring it all the way up. So after doing that step, I then go back to another concealer, just the regular E.L.F Camo concealer. The other one that I used earlier was a little bit more orange. This one's a lot lighter. And this is where I put it all over the under eye. And I apply this right onto the sponge instead of swiping it on my face, because I think when I swipe it, it picks up what I already have underneath. All underneath. Wow, you see how much lighter it is? Do the triangle thing, you know, like that, down, like that. I put the excess on my eyelid. Serves as a primer for eyeshadow. And then do the same on the other side. Okay, so we just finished putting the concealer under the eye, and to prevent creasing, you should do this step right away. I use my sponge and I lightly dab it to pick up whatever had already creased. Just a little bit, it just picks it up. And then I grab a brush and I dip it into some loose powder and you set it just what's underneath your eye. You're gonna set the rest of your face later. This is a banana colored, so it's good for the under eye to make them appear brighter. Oh yeah. Okay, so after setting my under eyes, what I like to do is I like to do my eyebrows. And I brush my eyebrow hairs up, and I use my Anastasia Dipbrow brush. I lightly pick up product and I start by lining the bottom. I'm gonna use this one. So I start it like that. And then I extend the line all the way this way, and then I'm gonna pull it down over here. Do the same on the other side. Okay, so I'm gonna do the other side, and to make them look symmetrical, I use my brush, and where it ends right here, I like transfer it over, and then I make a mark. If that sort of makes sense. Let me do it on this mirror. So what I did from here, I hovered it over as straight across as I can. Once I made it to this side, I make a mark. So it looks sort of the same. And I just extend the lines like I showed you on the other side. I keep them as close to my eyebrow hairs as possible, so I don't get that thick eyebrow look. So I line the bottom, and now I'm gonna do the top part. So I brush my hairs down. They look so weird down. And then I grab a little bit of product. Oh god. And then I start right there. Like again, I'm trying to stay as close to my eyebrow hairs as possible. I used to do the thick eyebrow look. I didn't like that, so now I start the outlines as close to my eyebrow hairs. So it makes sense. And then I like extend it this way and then pull down. So the technique that I did on the bottom line to make it look symmetrical, I did it the same for the top. So I use this end and I hover over my brush, and then I make a mark on this side just so that they're the same. If that makes sense. And then I'm gonna extend it over. So I did the outlines. I filled in the ends a little bit with the Dipbrow, and this is where I use a pencil, a brow pencil. This is from E.L.F, and I fill in the space inside. And as I get closer to the inside, or I mean this part right here, I do it gently up. So after doing that with the eyebrows, filling them in, sometimes mistakes happen, and so this is where I clean it up. I use a smaller brush from an old concealer, and then I use another concealer that I was running out of product, but there's still some in there, so I use this. And like I pick up a little bit of the concealer from the brush, and then I go in and then start cleaning it up. Lighter there. Picking up more, cleaning up on the side. After applying the concealer underneath the brows, you could see some harsh lines, so I just use my makeup sponge and I start dabbing and blending that so it doesn't look so harsh. And I use the corner of my sponge. Sometimes it dries up, so you could pick up, you could see some lighter parts, but I think that's sometimes okay if you're gonna put on eyeshadow, because you know, you highlight the brow bone so it looks like highlight when you do this. Okay. Awesome. So my eyebrows are done. And this is where I now set my face. So I get a brush, I go back to my loose powder, I get a little bit, then I swivel it in so that it gets into the hairs of the brush, and then you start applying that over the skin. Just easier when you do this with powder to swivel so that the powder gets in the hair and glides over easier. So this is a really light layer, which is good. Don't want to look caked. So still in the setting process, I use a mattifying powder on the parts of where I get more oily, and that's my nose. So I just pat it. It's hard to swivel in this because then I get too much. So I just put a little bit and I pack it on my nose. Maybe I dust it off a little bit on the forehead, but I'm not that oily. And maybe the parts around here, sometimes they're not set, I forget about those. Along the jawline. Sweet. I don't like looking matte, So I use a highlighting powder and I dust this all over my face. I just swivel this around everything and I put it everywhere. I think it just brings a little bit more life back to the skin so it doesn't look so dry. Bring back some glow to the skin, some sheen. And do this a good while. Everywhere on the face. Just swirling. I'm empty. I don't want to leave, so there's still a little bit left. See, you can pick up on the sheen. There you go. See that glow? After I apply highlighter all over my face, you know, look, it looks glowy now, it looks a little more like skin. I like to do my bronzer, and this is just from Rimel, London. It's pretty cheap, it's like I think $3. And when I apply bronzer, I think of contouring at the same time. So I like to use this lower end of my brush, like that. And then I start almost like contouring, so I'm focusing on my cheekbones. It's hard to notice because of this light. But yeah, I take a contouring approach when I put my bronzer on. Put bronzer on the sides of my forehead, make it look smaller. I don't go here. We want some shine in here. So I'm still bronzing. Just to build up the color. This isn't super pigmented as some other powders. I really like the Physicians Formula butter bronzer. That one's awesome, but I ran out, so I got this. Put a little bit around the chin. Try to make it look not wide. I think that's good. I'm gonna put some right here, on the forehead, right here. You could even use a bronzer to start contouring your nose, but I don't usually do that. Next step. Okay, so this is where I legit contour, and I use an angled brush. And I use my Anastasia contour kit. And let's do this. Such bad leg. Focus on the cheekbone. I don't like going all the way too low. I like to keep it high. Mix up a little bit of each. Very lightly. You're cutting my video. So for me, I mainly only contour the sides of my face right here. I don't do the forehead stuff, or if I do, it's very, very light. Like I might just go like this and that's it. But I don't do major contouring around my forehead just because I think the bronzer did a good enough job. Now, I guess we can start contouring the nose. And I use this type of brush. Both, and I start doing my nose. I keep it close in, not at the bridge of the nose, but pretty close to the bridge of the nose. I pretty much finished contouring my nose, but let's see if I can get a better. No. I just go up and down, do it pretty straight, up and down. Maybe I fluff it a little bit so I don't see any harsh lines. And like I said, I get as close to the bridge of my nose, but not on top. Same on the other side so that it really looks close together. And then I put some powder, and I put powder right here, to make this look a little bit more pointy instead of like saggy down. I put contour powder right there. And I do a little bit right here to like round this part out. So while I'm contouring and while I use this palette, this middle one is a yellow tone powder. Just to, I don't know, I think it makes it look even brighter. I tap it and I only apply it on my under eye. I don't sweep it, I pat it in. Again, we want the bright under eye. Okay. So after contouring the nose, I go into blush. I use a big poofy brush like that, and I tap this in, and I put some in my apples of my cheeks, and then I brush up. It helps pull the face back, I guess, for like a lift. And it's okay to keep it, to have it touch your contour, because we want it to blend seamless together. After putting it on my cheeks, I dust it over my forehead to bring some color back into the skin, just subtly. So after doing blush, I go with my highlight. I like to go heavy on the blush because we're gonna put highlight on top of it, so that might take some away, and then as your day goes by it fades away as well. So just mixing the lighter highlights. I dusted at the highest point in my face in regards to my cheek, where it sticks out, so like your cheekbone. Okay, I like to put it on the apples of my cheeks because then you get this glow right here at the front. And then I just keep adding and adding and adding, and then I dust some into my forehead. Try to avoid the pimples because then it makes them stand out even more. On the chin, and right here. So I'm almost done with the highlighter, but then I want to highlight the bridge of my nose, and I use a skinny brush like this. And I pick one of the lighter highlighting shades, and I go straight up and down on the bridge of the nose. I try to keep it a thin, straight line on top so that it really emphasizes the straight, skinny nose. Okay. And then I do a little line down right at the tip of the nose. Again, make it try to look skinny. Maybe I like to put some on my Cupid's bow. Now, to finish the highlighting, I use one of my most brightest highlighting powders, and it's from the Artist Couture. And again, take a little bit. Gosh, you only need a little bit on this. And I apply it on my cheeks. It's very wet looking. if you thought we were done with our eyebrows, we're not. The last step that I do on my eyebrows is that I set it with powder. I use this warm chocolate brown shade and I use an angled brush. I start filling in my eyebrow. Right now it has a cool toned color because of the brow pencil. I'm really careful when I'm filling in the edges. I don't want it to look messy. So I want it to look sharp. That's why I'm using the angled brush. It helps me achieve that. Fill it in. Again, but I'm more careful when I'm doing the edges or the end of the eyebrow. So I finished filling in my brow with the powder, eyeshadow powder, and now I start doing my eye stuff. I like to highlight my inner corner with a really bright white shimmery shade, just because I think it opens up my eyes. Do that over here. I think it gives a little bit more of a bright eye effect. I extend it a little bit over here too. We want awake eyes. After highlighting my inner corner, I then go to do my eyeshadow. I use my sponge to wipe off any creasing that happened from the concealer that I put on my eyelids. Make sure it's cleaned up. And today I'm gonna go with something natural looking. If not, this video would be so long and I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna use my Naked palette and I'm gonna just use this soft natural shade on the crease. Do this. Just wanted to be subtle today. I'm not going out anywhere in quarantine. Gotta stay indoors. I'll blend it upwards, but less pressure. That's how it's looking so far. With a shade that's less light, you could go a little bit heavy-handed on it, but it will still look subtle. But again, if you go darker, you can't be as subtle. But this, just going like that, even bringing it up close here. But as I get closer, I start to take off and off more pressure. Light as I extend it out like this. Go in. Natural. Still using only one color. So I started using a darker color on this side. It's a little blow. It's only like maybe 2 shades darker than this one. And I only put it right on the corner. Blend it a little bit, but I keep it in that spot. I don't extend it outwards. I'm not doing a crazy look today. Keeping it subtle. So I'm done with my eyeshadow. I'm not doing anything super glam today, but there's still that powder underneath your eyes. So I dust off the powder when I know I'm done with using eyeshadows. I'm gonna dust it off. Very quick. and light. I don't want to press whatever fallout into the skin. That's it. And then eyeliner, and then mascara. I love using the Lash Paradise from L'Oreal, and the eyeliner is really cheap. It's from Essence. It's a brush. It's not a felt tip. It's a brush style that I like using. Okay, I almost forgot. So before I actually put on eyeliner or mascara, I set my face. Set my face. I do this first before I put on mascara or eyeliner, because if I put on my eyeliner and my mascara, then I set my face, when I close my eyes to set, the product that's on my eyes transfers down sometimes. So I do this. Then I put on mascara and eyeliner. Let it dry. So I thought I was done, but I think I want to put some glitter from the Tati. And I would put on eyeliner, but we could still do it. I like using a flat-ended brush, and I'll pick up, I think I might go with the lightest sparkly one. I'm just gonna put it right above the eyeliner. I might even try to use my pinky, see if that works. You just have to be careful to not put it on top of the eyeliner. Going back with the brush to do the inner. So this is the final look.